Hello guys and welcome back to the channel here, and sorry for not uploading on Sunday or Monday. I forgot to upload on Monday and I couldn't upload on Sunday because I like to do double uploads, and I actually lost the first recording for this what if, so I could not upload it. Like I said, I like to do double uploads, so that's why it didn't come out yesterday or on Saturday. So anyways, if you have any what if you want to recommend me doing, comment down below and I may or may not do them. And I'm also going to give a little bit of lore during this what if. Well, yeah, that's basically all I have to say. Now, let me state the recap and then we can get into this what if. So, to basically recap what happened in the last part, Naruto, well, first we're going to start with Dr. Jiro's story. Dr. Jiro got betrayed, like he did in canon, but unlike in canon, he was able to escape to the Naruto universe, which I'm going to explain further into that lore that I just created for it. But he escaped to the Naruto universe, and he found Naruto bloodied and bruised in an alley. And what happened was Naruto, he got beat up by a bunch of villagers, and Dr. Jiro took him in, trained him, turned into an android. And then when Naruto was 12, this is like 8 years later, he is about as smart as Dr. Jiro. He's not as smart as him, because that takes a long time, but he's still pretty smart. He knows how to do blood clones. I'm going to explain further into how he knows how to do blood clones, but the reason why he knows how to do blood clones is why he's going to be so strong and powerful, and how he's going to know so many jutsus and all that stuff. But don't worry about that. I'm going to explain that further into this part. But anyways, he got found by the Anbu of the Hokage. He met the Hokage, and the Hokage put him into the academy. So now, we're going to begin into the test of the academy. So yeah, let's get into this. What if? Now, I'm going to explain the lore first, and I'm going to explain Naruto's blood clones. So, the lore is that basically how Naruto's universe came to be in the Dragon Ball universe is that it's the beta universe. It's the beta testing universe for the rest of the Dragon Ball multiverse. All the rest of the 36, how many universes there is in the multiverse, it was the beta testing. It was called Universe 0, beta testing era. Now, what Zeno, it was his predecessor. A predecessor of Zeno, who's also known as Zeno, because all his predecessors are just going to be called Zeno. Anyways, a predecessor of Zeno, a smarter and more experienced Zeno, created Universe 0, and he created the other universes. Like I said, he created Universe 0. Now, this was the first ever predecessor, obviously. He created the Beta universe, the Naruto universe, and he made these lower ranking of angels, which are known as the Otsutsuki. Now, the reason why they're the lowest ranking is because they weren't born with the potential to unlock Ultra Instinct, and because the other angels have a hacks where these lower ranking of angels, also known as the Otsutsuki, their dojutsu don't work on them, so they were made the weakest. Though they're still pretty strong, they're the weakest because they can't unlock Ultra Instinct. They can't do nothing like that. So they were put to guard the Beta universe because he didn't want them anymore. He did not like them. He thought they were only useful for the fact that they were betas, like they were useless. Like, they were the weakest of the species, the angel species. So he just put them over there, and the Grand Priest approved of it. So the Otsutsuki are guarding Universe 0, the Beta universe, also known as the Naruto universe. So that's how it came to fruition. And what the Omni King was trying to do was create... Anyway, sorry for that. Now, Naruto, he learned the Blood Clone Jutsu when he was learning the Shadow Clone Jutsu from Kurama, who was also trying to teach him Ninshu, which he learned from Hagoromo. And he used his intelligence, and he infused a blood clone, and he made it with the help of Dr. Gero, obviously, and he made the blood clone, and they realized the blood clone, like the clone jutsu, stores all the memories, but it also stores the physical aspect of the training. So it doesn't just store the mental aspect, like remembering something. It also stores the physical training. So his muscles will get bigger. He will get more used to fighting and stuff like that. So this is the better clones. Now, he used this to learn the jutsus of all the villages. He learned this to use the history of all the villages. He created about 2 to 3 blood clones for all the villages. Even the smaller villages, he just created them so he could learn it. Literally every single jutsu and my bad. Literally everything about each and every village. So even if they're like the weakest village, he still finds their jutsu useful, since he'll in the long run be able to combine all jutsu and create this big massive jutsu. But we're not worried about that right now. Anyways, that's how the blood clone came to fruition. Now, Naruto, we see him in the academy. This is before the test, so don't worry about the test. This is way before the test. Now, Naruto is just chilling in class, and he is waiting for. He's just waiting for Iruka to finish his lecture, because Iruka, he knows everything. He knows already everything about this village. Hold on, I have to do something real quick. Okay. Like I was saying, Naruto, he was just waiting in class. Now, this has been going on for 6 months until the test would happen. He would just be waiting in class because, like I said, he already knows literally everything that Iruka is trying to teach him. So he would just go into his mindscape, talk to Kurama about some ninja he could learn if, it's possible to learn any more ninja. Because he's already learned a lot of ninja. And I'm going to just talk about the ninja in the later parts. But, every time Iruka would explain something, he would just go into his mindscape. And Iruka would think he was just sleeping, and he would try to wake him up. But, since he's in his mindscape, it doesn't, he won't wake up easily at all. So he just stays in his mindscape for such a long time. And this was, like I said, a daily occurrence for 6 months. So Iruka was very annoyed, and he would complain to the Hokage a lot. And Naruto would just say that he knew literally everything about the village, so there was no point in him learning more about what he already knew. And Hiruzen would just be like, well, Naruto, you could at least stay awake for the lecture. You don't have to even listen, just stay awake. And Naruto's like, well, why would I do that when I can do better things? And this would happen a lot. I don't want to explain that too much. But the 6 months, it's finally the test. And Naruto passes them all with flying colors. Now, I'm going to talk about them. And what would happen first was that Naruto, they asked him to do the clone jutsu. Now, he made a clone. He wasn't trying to show off because it would have been a bit suspicious why he knew clone techniques from literally every village. So he just did the shadow clone jutsu because he had so much chakra, and it was still a bit hard for him to regulate. No, it wasn't. He just did his shadow clone jutsu to show off a little bit, but he didn't want to show his other clone jutsus because they would be like, where you get the lightning clone jutsu from? How did you get, the fire clone? They would not stop bothering him about how he got these jutsus. So he just did the shadow clone jutsu, and people thought that he stole it or something. And then he said that he learned it from the Hokage, and the Hokage had to cover up for him, because he still cared for Naruto in that regard, even though Naruto didn't really care about him that much. He still cared for Naruto, so he lied for Naruto, saying that he did teach him the clone jutsu because he had so much chakra. But it was all thing. It was after the exam. They wouldn't, just stop the test for it. It was after the exam. Now, then they did the transformation jutsu, and he transformed into Dr. Gero, and they're all just like, who is this? And Naruto's like, oh, want me to transform into someone else? And Ruka's like, yeah, I'm fine with that. And then he transforms into the first Hokage. He makes clones, and then they transform into the second Hokage and the third Hokage. And Ruka's like, wow, even your clones can transform? Nice. You get extra points for that. He also got extra points for the Shadow Clone Jutsu because it's the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Nobody even learned that, so you get extra points for that as well. And now it's on to the Kunai and Senbon and whatever they were going test. Kunai and Shuriken test, my bad. Naruto, he threw the Kunai and Shuriken so hard, they broke through the targets and destroyed like about 30 meters, no, not 30 meters, 200 meters in surrounding area. No, that's a bit excessive. They destroyed 50 meters. And Iruka was just like, we gotta go to the other ground now. You get extra points for that, Naruto. You get like 50, I guess, per meter. Like you get a point per meter of extra force destroyed. And this made Sasuke very mad because Naruto literally came out of nowhere and was wrecking literally even his brother's records and every other prodigy's records, casually getting extra points here and there. And this really angered Sasuke because he thought he was going to be number one again, but he wasn't even able to get extra points. He was barely able to get 90 points on each part, so he didn't get, but then they got onto the fighting part. Now, I'm not going to explain into this because it's boring. I'm going to only talk about the Sasuke and Naruto fight. Now, Kiba, he loses to Shino because Shino gives Kiba and Akamaru fleas, not flies. Shino wins, and then Shino goes up against some random ninja. He wins again, and then it's Shikamaru versus two random ninja as well. He beats them both casually with some strategy, and then when he goes up against Shino, he quits obviously. Shino goes up against Sasuke. Wait, no, I don't want that. Shino goes up against not Sasuke. Sasuke, yes, and Naruto goes up against I don't forget his name. Shikamaru. Shikamaru just quits because he saw Naruto's power and he does not want to deal with that. And Shino, his bugs were getting burnt, so he quit before all of them would die and get mad at him. And then with Sasuke versus Naruto. And Sasuke came at him just running and saying, "You're not better than me," just yelling at it. And then Naruto just punched him in his nose, uppercutted him, kicked him in his liver, and sent him flying out of the ring. And Naruto was like, "Call it before I beat him more." And Iruka had to call it because Naruto was serious. He would have beat him more. So Iruka had to call it before his student got hurt even more. But Sasuke got up and said, "Don't call it." And Naruto's like, "I don't think you want the Uchiha clan to end here, do you?" And Sasuke felt the power in this statement. He was like, "Never mind, Iruka. Call it. I'm feeling a bit tired anyways." And Naruto was like, puny shinobi. It's my first day back here in 8 years and I'm clapping all of you casually. And Kurama in his mindscape is just like, well, what do you expect, kid? They're barely Genin level. And that Uchiha you fought with maybe low Chunin. You could beat a Kage if you wanted to. It's not fair. It's really a Kage going up against a couple Genin. Not even Genin. And Naruto's like, well, you do got a point. I guess it's not really fair. But I kind of expected a bit more, since the Leaf Village is hyped up so much as the strongest village. So I kind of expected a bit more. But, I mean, this is what I got. So I'm really disappointed. The crowd was like, well, that is understandable. They are very hyped up. But let's just go home and wait for our teams to get picked. And Naruto's like, yes. And Iruka, he says, go home, come back tomorrow, your teams will get picked. Now Naruto, he gets on the team with Sasuke and Sakura like in canon, but he doesn't know who Sakura is, but she's fangirling over Sasuke. She and the rest of the fangirls are scared of Naruto, but they're also very mad at him. But like I said, they're scared, so they don't want to try to do anything stupid like attack him. But Sakura, she was a bit more brazen, and she literally went up to him and tried to punch him, and he ducked and punched her right in the side of her jaw, and her jaw got dislocated, and she fell unconscious, and everybody was like, and her mom was there too. Her mom was like, just shocked, and her mom knew that Naruto was connected with the Hokage, but she went and complained anyways, because why wouldn't she? And the Hokage said, I can't do nothing about it. He attacked me first, if I'm correct. All he did was defend himself. And it is a fight between two newly made genin. We can't do nothing about it. As long as nobody died, then we can't do nothing about it. And Haruna and her mom is just screaming at Hiruzen, and Hiruzen gets the Ambu to kick her out. He's like, jeez, Naruto, you're causing way too much trouble. And you only been here for half a year. And like I said, this is the, same Naruto we know and love. So he's kind of a prankster. And he goes around and he puts, itching powder and just all kinds of stuff. And like I said, he's a prankster. So he paints the whole Hokage wall. And since he's faster, stronger, smarter, he gets away each and every time without anybody knowing it, except for the Hokage. And he knows the Hokage knows. He let the Hokage find out and figure out. But he knows the Hokage won't do nothing about it. So he doesn't care if the Hokage figures out. And yeah, he's like I said, he's a prankster. He does whatever he wants because he can. He's strong. Nobody can touch him. Not even the Hokage. But the Hokage doesn't know that. The Hokage just knows that he's pretty strong for a kid his age. Is all. And Naruto, he goes back the next day and he sees Sakura and Sasuke there, and he knew he got Kakashi on his team because he asked Hiruzen, and he heard of, Kakashi being late all the time, so he came a bit later than before, and Sakura was just yelling, even though she got punched up by him yesterday, she was yelling at him, and then Naruto's like, do you want what happened to you yesterday to happen to you again? Because I can make that happen for free. And Sakura instantly shut up. She didn't want to get her jaw punched again. Like, she still has a brace over her head for that because of what he did. So she did not want that. So and Sakura and Sasuke was like, once I get the Sharingan, I'm gonna copy each and every jutsu you might have. I don't care. And Naruto was like, this kid thinks that even with the Sharingan he can copy my jutsu. I don't even have to use hand seals anymore. And Naruto has learned ninja to a master's degree for each and every element. And for each and every jutsu he has learned ninja. And all he has to do is say the word in his head. He doesn't have to say it out loud, just think about it, and it does the jutsu for him. So it's very, very OP. And like I said, androids can adapt very fast. So he adapted to the ninja's requirements very quickly, and that's how he's so godly at it already. Now, Naruto being a god at ninja, still, it doesn't matter. He wants to learn key techniques, and Dr. Gero he didn't know much key techniques. He only knew Ki Blast, Kamehameha. He didn't know much, so he couldn't teach Naruto much, and Naruto didn't mind. He wasn't mad, But they were coming up with, trying to come up with key techniques. They didn't come up with anything. It was they didn't have no information to come up with key techniques because Dr. Gero didn't bring any with him, so he didn't know what to do, But they made some good progress on some key techniques, on some creation of them, anyways, because they're actually pretty similar to ninja jutsus. So, but still, Naruto doesn't know not too many key techniques, anyways. But it doesn't matter because, he's not going to be using key techniques on these guys, anyways. But Naruto, he sees Kakashi coming in. He punched him straight in his jaw. And he punched him in his nose. And he kicked him right in his temple, knocking Kakashi out instantly. And he said to Sakura and Sasuke, meet up at the roof, or I'm giving the same treatment I gave him. And Naruto stares at Sasuke, and he's like, you should know what it feels. You should know what a bit of it feels like. Same for you, Sakura. And Sasuke and Sakura are like, whoa, I'm not trying to be like him. And they're like, he a top Jonin? And he got beat up like that? I'm not trying to be like him. And they dipped straight up to the tower. They were not trying to die, not trying to get knocked out. Exactly like Kakashi, a top Jonin, mind you. So they were smart and they ran. And Naruto was like, smart, I see. They're not dumb anymore. Not too brazen. But I have to teach Sasuke and Sakura a bit more. Because they're being a bit more confident. They're still a bit confident. Anyways, now Naruto, he grabs Kakashi over and he brings him up to the top. He doesn't, it's nothing to him. And he punches Kakashi awake. And Kakashi's like, Rin. And Naruto's like, your Rin is not here, whoever he or she is. You're here to talk to us. So what should we do? And Kakashi's like, what how did I get up here? And Naruto's like, don't worry about that. Now, what do we do right now? And Kakashi's like, you tell me about yourselves. And like a canon, Sakura asks for an example. Kakashi thinks she's kind of stupid. And he tells her, Sakura explains. And, she, like in canon, she's just staring at, Sasuke. But when she looks at Naruto, she's scared. She doesn't say, she just looks at Naruto with fear on her face when she says, I don't like a certain someone. She looks at Naruto and she says, pig. And it's Sasuke. He says what he says in canon, except for the fact that he adds that he also wants to defeat another certain someone and put them in their place. And he looks at Naruto, and Naruto's like, you'll never put me in my place, little boy. And Sasuke's like, never mind. And he gets to Naruto, and he's just like, I want to kill Goku. And I want to rule over this planet. And Kakashi's like, huh? And Naruto's like, I have some respect for Orochimaru. He's a scientist just like Grandpa Gero. But unlike Gero, he was an idiot. And a weak one at that. And Kakashi's like, Orochimaru being a weak idiot? Is this kid on something right now? Orochimaru, a weak idiot. Oh boy. And Naruto's like, do you want me to teach you that he's a weak idiot? Don't worry. I will. He won't get away. With none of his little small white snakes, they won't revive him. He's going to die right there and then. And I promise you that. And Kakashi's like, thanks, I guess. And Naruto's just like, alright. So, like I said, and that's it. And Kakashi tells them that there's an extra test, and Naruto's like, I'm not surprised. I already knew about the test. And Kakashi is just like, I need to talk to Okage-sama. And then they get excused, but Naruto, he follows Kakashi, and Kakashi goes to Hiruzen. He talked about how Naruto is unhumanly strong, and how they might have to limit him. And Hiruzen's kind of agreeing, and Naruto's like, they're plotting on me. I don't like this. I might have to deal with them later on. But now they're still useful for me. Very useful. And that's it for this part. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.